How do you find the right behavior tools and strategies for your classroom? And where do you look? What do you need? Hi, I'm Amy Murray from Teaching Exceptional Kinders, and I am here to help answer that question today. In kindergarten, we often get kids who haven't been in school before and may have some learning or behavioral needs that aren't yet diagnosed. And so kindergarten is like this melting pot of all different abilities for academics and social emotional, right? And so we often are faced with some major behavior challenges, and it's just sort of, if you're anything in a situation like I was, sort of left up to you to figure it out. But where do you go? TPT and just pick a clip chart that looks cute? Do you pick things that match your classroom? Where are we finding the strategies and tools that we need to help our students be successful? What I found over the years was the biggest help is having a toolkit of all different materials that I had used over the years to pull from to help students to experience success. So I had a handful of different sticker charts, of different behavior charts. I especially like to use, that didn't work for everybody, but little color charts, sort of like these guys. I had point sheets from my special ed teaching days. I would have all the individual things. Then I also had a collection of whole class things, sort of like the apple tree that you can kind of see behind me. There's a little bit of a glare, but where we would earn apples to get to the whole class reward in that situation. We one year did a class shout out board. And so I have tools to create that. I have classroom visuals so I can give directions quickly. And individual schedules and class schedules and all the picture cards you could dream up. So I was ready to pull those out and use them with students right away. Now, did I have all of this in year 1 and 2? No, absolutely I did not. I had to create them over the years, and then when I would create for one student, I kept it so that we could use it year after year. Because if it works for one kiddo, it doesn't mean it's going to work for everybody, but the odds of it working for another student in the future are high. So don't ditch everything that you used to use just because it didn't work with one particular student. Every student who comes to you is going to be different and present different challenges. But having a toolkit of things to pull from is important. What are must-haves to go in those toolkits? So, I do believe having some kind of individual visual schedule like this is important. Any behavior specialist that comes into your classroom, observes a student, that is going to be one of the suggestions they make. And if you are not lucky enough to have a behavior specialist who hands you a visual schedule to use, you're going to want to have one just on hand. Now, do they take a while to prep? Initially, yes. But if you keep them organized, like I kept these little picture cards organized in one of those. I've also seen teachers use them for magnet letters, but I'll put a picture here, a little compartment thing. And then that way I could find here's all the reading ones, here's the math row, centers, that kind of stuff. And I could just pull them out quickly to make a quick schedule. Once it's made once, you can use it over and over again. And so the initial prep is a little time consuming, but then it's done. The other probable must have in your toolkit of some kind is some sort of token board or individual incentive chart of some kind. It could be a sticker chart. That is a go-to starting point. I can talk about all of this till I'm blue in the face, but I will just send you down to our classroom management playlist, and you can pick and choose which videos resonate more with your class needs right now. But having sticker charts and just a little behavior chart where kids can color in as they earn throughout the day, things like that, or actual token boards, something like this. Again, prep at the beginning is a little bit higher, but once it's prepped, it's done forever. And I really like these token boards because you can change the token to be something of high interest to the student. Are they really into Avengers? Go find some Avengers stickers, and those can be, laminate them, and they can be the tokens. Have a kiddo who's obsessed with, I don't know, Peppa Pig. You can go find any of those stickers to really help them to buy in to your system. So individual schedules, individual incentive chart or token board of some kind is going to be another thing that behavior specialists want you to have. The third thing is more of a thing for you and not so much for your student, is documentation forms, some way to keep detailed data that you can hand to a behavior specialist, you can hand to your administrator and say, look, I am seeing that when this happens, the student does this. And here's what happens after that. Or I am seeing this student during a 10-minute mini lesson is on task for 2 of the 10 minutes. What strategies can we brainstorm? But having that data is so important. And people tell you keep documentations. And I used to just keep a notebook and then on my, just keep writing things down. But that's hard to sift through. But having just an incident tally. So every time, if you have someone who curses a lot, for one instance, every time they curse, marking it down. If you have someone who has their hands on other kids or is out of their personal space, marking it down, calling out, all those things, you can keep detailed data. And again, I could talk about this till I'm blue in the face, but these are data forms that I really do feel are critical to have in your teacher toolkit. And then you're not scrambling to go find the form. You know you have it, print it out, and start using it. So that's more for individual students. Another thing that would be good to make an investment in and have on hand are some sort of social narrative that gives students a script or a social story to use as they're navigating these situations. That's another thing that a behavior specialist will probably suggest to you. So having some social narratives on hand is a good idea as well. And then if your issues are more whole class, this class won't stop talking. This class is having a really hard time using kind words or whatever it is, using some sort of incentive chart like you see back there behind me is a good thing to have on hand, and having seasonal options so you can flip them out. Once a month, once a quarter, one that starts to feel stale, and change the pieces either that they're earning or change the whole chart, but it's still the same concept. We're earning tokens once the board is filled, we get our incentive. Will help with buy-in throughout the whole year, so you're not having to reinvent your behavior system every couple weeks when it loses its steam, because that is a problem, right? Especially with little ones. They're over it pretty quickly, so keeping them engaged. So instead of going and running to TPT and searching for all of these things every time something comes up, or you're like, I got a kid who talks too much, what can I do? If you go into your toolkit that you've already built, and you're like, oh, I can try the sticker chart. I can try this little individual chart, something like this. Or, you know what, I think he needs a little bit more support, more ready for X, Y, and Z. If you have these toolkits built, you're much more likely to use them consistently, and you're much more likely to get the effect that you need. You're not constantly trying to find something brand new to use with your students. And you may be like, well, how am I going to find all these tools? I still have to go search for them. I've got you covered. Inside the kindergarten behavior blueprint course, you get our whole entire teacher toolkit that has individual tools, whole class tools, documentation tools, as well as ways and simple ways to build positive relationships with your students and their families. It's got it all in one spot with training videos, every printable you need to instantly have your teacher toolkit at your fingertips. I will leave the link to that down below. If you have any questions about the kindergarten behavior blueprint, I am happy to answer them. The feedback has been awesome, hearing how teachers are feeling relieved that they know where they can turn to find the tools that they need. They know the training is there, so they can watch a quick video and be like, okay, yeah, that's how I use this form. I'm ready to go and test it out, or I'm ready to go and use it in my classroom. And they're not having to scramble all over to try to find tools that actually work and aren't taking 16 years to create, right? Because that's the worst. So a little bit of time up front will save you a lot of time in the future if you build your toolkit now. All right, the links to everything I talked about are down below. And like I said, if you have questions, leave a comment there, or here is how to get in touch with me. In contact with me is what I was going to say. Please take a minute to like and subscribe so other kindergarten teachers know that this video can be helpful for them as well. All right, until next time, have an exceptional